Ready? Yes. Oh, all right, guys, welcome. Thank you for joining us this evening and thank you for your patience. Technology is something we have yet to master. My name is Sean Roach. I am the proud principal of Pacific Grove Middle School, and I am joined this evening by our friends from Harmony at Home and the Monterey County Office of Ed. And this is the first in our four-part series on anti-bias bullying. There's a lot of really good information for you guys. And so I'm going to go ahead and do a little bit of introductions. First of all, joining us online from the Monterey County Office of Education is Casey Rodenbush. She's in the room with you guys right now. Julie Mendara from Harmony at Home, and Denise Adiza, who is from Harmony at Home as well. But she is also somebody who runs our anti-bullying club every Wednesday. She's somebody we are happy to be able to keep here and kind of grow that school-wide. So without further ado, let me turn it over to the ladies.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And thank you everybody for being here. Thank you, Sean, for the introduction. And once again, thank you for everybody for carving out the time to be here with us. So on today's first series, our first series for today that we're going to be covering is bias-based bullying and what that is and how to prevent it, how to recognize it, and as a parent, how do we shift that culture together as a community? So at the very end, we will have a little activity that we'll be able to do in the room. We'll also be able to do it online, as well as a short video and then a Q&A at the very end. And we'll follow up with the second series date to follow, okay? So I like to make this as interactive as possible. So for the wonderful parents that are here and for the parents that are online, please feel free to, jump in and share anything that you'd like to share based on the information that we're sharing. Again, we don't like to be the only ones talking. We like to make sure that you guys are involved as well, because we feel that that's the only way that the knowledge is going to be carried outside of these four walls, right? That it's going to be carried outside of this recording. We want you guys to be interactive, and we want you guys to know how much of an important role you play in this, this whole entire series, right? So again, to introduce everybody, we have Casey Rodenbush, who is online, and she is with Monterey County Behavioral Health. She's been a supervisor for over a decade, and she is the whole heart of this project. She is a big reason as to why we are doing all of this. She had a big mission, a big vision, and it's beautiful to see everything just start to come into fruition, and PG Middle is really just helping us pave the way. So a big round of applause for Ms. Casey Rodenbush for allowing this to happen. And a quick introduction of myself. My name is Julie Mendaro. I am with Harmony at Home. I'm the Bullying Prevention Program Manager. We're currently across 26 different school sites, and I am proud to say we are here at PG Middle. I've been with Harmony at Home for 6 months coming up. So I am very proud with the work that we're doing. It definitely takes a village to promote this shift, and it's so nice to be received so well by admin, as well as the parents and the students. So without ado, I'd like to introduce our Rainbow Connections Bullying Prevention Coach, Denise Deza.
Good evening. Thank you. Good evening, everyone. My name is Denise Deza. I am the Rainbow Connections Bullying Prevention Specialist for Harmony at Home. I have been working with Harmony at Home for about 7 months now. Kind of started a little bit before Julie did.
She's showing me the ropes.
So I've been learning a lot from that point till now. So I'm still willing to grow from this experience.
Yeah. So we'll move on to the next slide. So down to the nitty gritty. Denise, what is bias-based bullying?
So bias-based bullying has a broader societal implication that targets an individual or a group that targets them because of their gender or their race, as well as their disability, their capabilities, and also their social status as well.
And the comparison and the difference between bullying is that bias-based bullying is targeting a certain factor of someone that it's encompassing a bigger group, right? Whereas bullying in general is simply targeting one person, right? So it's one person who is being targeted by a larger, it's either group or someone who is bigger or it's an imbalance of power, and it's repetitive, right? Not to be confused with conflict, teasing, or a mean moment, right? Because we all have mean moments, right? We all sometimes just wake up, things are not going our way, and sometimes we lash out and we act on where it's just a reaction. But that doesn't mean that we're a bully, right? And that is the biggest thing that we find amongst parents is that they confuse mean moments, conflict, or teasing with the word bullying, right? So as parents, we hold that responsibility to be able to differentiate the both, right? What is conflict and really what is bullying? Because as parents, when we come and we talk to admin and we say, hey, my child's being bullied, right? That takes resources away from the day-to-day activities at school because now admin has to focus on this bullying situation. And maybe it wasn't bullying, maybe it was a mean moment. And we're all allowed to have mean moments. But from that, the bigger picture is learning from that experience, right? And us as parents, we need to make sure that we provide the tools for our students to be able to set those boundaries so they aren't put in those situations to where they feel bullied or teased, or they know how to solve a solution when there is conflict, come up with a solution when there is conflict. So I'd like to share that 1 in every 4 students is bullied across the United States. And that means that 1.5 million students in California alone are being bullied. So if we have this group, how many students are being bullied? If we were all to be students, the count. Okay, so let's think about that. Out of that number, is your child one of them? Is your child the one that is exhibiting the bullying behavior? Right? So we're going to go over a couple of different things to be different keynotes that we'll be able to understand whether or not our student is being targeted, is being a bystander, is being an upstander, or is the one who is exhibiting the bullying behavior. Okay, so
it's very important to know why the harm of bias-based bullying does matter. It can affect an individual in the long run, which can take up an emotional toll on the student. They might experience anxiety, depression, loss of self-esteem, which can also affect their social life. They might feel like isolated, they feel withdrawn, they don't feel like really participating in a lot of the school activities. And then they might experience having difficulties in forming relationships with their peers as well. And then also it can also impact their academics. I know some students, their grades drop because either they avoid school, their attendance, it's really not the best. They try to find ways to avoid the situation based on fear. And also I just have some experiences with students where they just hang out at the principal's office or the office in general, just to kind of just stay away. They need a break sometimes. So sometimes it's really great to see the admin sort of just understand the student and what they're going through and not just, sending them to the class and sending them to something that they're not comfortable with.
So having Denise as a resource on site, again, is great because she helps establish a safe space for the student. She helps establish, even if she's here once a week, which is on Wednesdays, they know that they have Wednesdays to look forward to. They know that they're going to have that someone to lean in on, to talk to, if there is something going on. And you can tell Denise is very soft and approachable. So most students have no problem, approaching her and talking to her about what it is that's going on. And once you start to see the attendance start to take into effect, right? They're bringing up excuses. I don't want to go to school. My stomach hurts. My head hurts. You start to wonder as a parent, well, what is it that's really going on, right? Well, when you have to worry about outside things outside of the academics, there's something more that we have to dig into. And the reason is because why isn't our student wanting to attend? What is it? So as parents, it's our jobs to advocate and to investigate and find out what the reasons behind this are. So post-pandemic, the CDC did some research and they concluded that although we were at 10% pre-pandemic for anxiety, now we're at 20%. That's 1 in every 5 students is experiencing high anxiety. How many of those students are your students? How many of those are your kiddos, right? So it's up to us to, again, investigate and find out why. What is it that's really going on? And when you start to really dig into the data, that's what really helps us open up our eyes, because sometimes as parents, we kind of guard ourselves and say, oh, my child could never be the one exhibiting the bullying behavior, right? Or no, my child looks okay. I don't think that they're, being bullied. However, it could be otherwise, right? So there's different types of bias-based bullying, and it's up to us to recognize what those are, right? So we have racial and ethnic, we have religious reasons, sexual orientation, disability, social economics, gender, language and accents, as well as appearance. Do you guys feel that there's anything that's missing up there? Take a second. Take a second. You don't have to answer right away. Or can you provide an example for any of these examples of bias-based bullying?
Sometimes personal.
Sometimes personal things. Absolutely. Absolutely. I agree. Do you want to dig in a little bit deeper on that?
Group of friends that they wanna hang out together, and they peer pressure, they ask, like, one of the students might ask her friends or a group of friends to attack that person because he did something to her.
Okay.
She wanted revenge. So
Right.
It ends up bullying against
Right.
one student from a group of students.
Well, and in that instance too, you have that, they call it group thing. So one person acts or directs somebody to act, and everybody else in that friend group, even though they don't feel really good about it, they don't stand up
Right.
because they're scared of the repercussions.
Right. And then we call those bystanders.
Yep.
Somebody who doesn't stand up to the occasion, who is observing or maybe just following. There's a whole Aveus bullying circle, right? And it starts with A. You have A, who is the student who is being targeted. You have B, the one who is exhibiting the bullying behavior. And then you have C, D, E, F, G, and then it continues all the way around, right? All B through C, these students could be easily swayed if we just continue to promote upstander behavior, right? Do you guys understand what it means to be an upstander? We understand what it is to be a bystander, right? To stand on the side, just stand by and just let things happen, or maybe follow along and not stand up. An upstander has the courage to stand up, and it makes it a little bit easier when you can do it as a group, rather than isolating yourself and doing it on your own, right? I have a question in the back. Yes.
Oh, I had it.
Comment, yes.
Yeah. Well, here, especially in the Pacific Grove being so insulated, and I think I was pretty nice about it, but even with my new friends here, I said, well, where did you move from? We kind of have a regional bias, maybe more with the adults, but, well, where did you move from? Where are you from?
Mhm. Where are you
and
from?
It's so insidious.
Right.
Well, I've been here all my life, it's.
Born and raised, right?
Yeah.
It's the regional aspect. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Point.
And it's sometimes you come in as parents, we have a bias. As educators, there's a bias, but it's sometimes just you checking yourself, right?
Mhm.
And just thinking, taking that moment, pause, think, right? Because sometimes we're just trying to build that human connection, right? And it just kind of, yes.
Oh, I was just gonna jump in too and say, the students that exhibit that behavior, they've got to go somewhere.
Absolutely.
So where is it coming from?
And those are outgrowths of the socioeconomics, the
Indeed.
racial, the,
Right.
Yeah.
100%. That's why this is important, so that this information can spread to the homes, so that they can have those conversations and stem that kind of bias at home. And
Right.
not kind of keep that going the way it's. That's why we're here.
Great. Thank you so much. Thank you guys. I appreciate your guys being so involved. So recognizing the signs. So as a targeted students, right? We don't want to put labels on our kiddos. We don't want to call them bullies. We don't want to call them victims. They're targeted in that moment. That's it. After we find a solution, we move on from that. Okay, they're not going to be a target. They're not going to be a victim in second grade and carry that victim title till they're in high school. We're going to empower our students to be targeted, find a solution, and move on and move forward, right? But as parents, we need to be able to recognize if our student is being targeted, if our kiddo is being targeted, right? So is there any bruises? Are they avoiding school? And if so, we got to do a little bit of digging deep as to why. And the mood changes, especially for middle school. We see the mood changes, but we understand sometimes why those mood changes are happening. Sometimes it's just a conversation and they're just like, oh, I'm done, right? I have a 7-year-old.
You guys
I'm
know.
going on 13. I get it, right? That's what it is. So it's understanding why those mood swings are happening. Is it a certain topic? Are they hangry? Because that's the thing, right? Are they hangry? Are they tired? Or is it a topic that's really just, are we hitting a sore spot? And it's up to us to be able to investigate and find out those reasons, right? If our child is the one exhibiting the bullying behavior, we have to be open-minded, again, to the fact that that could be it. And finding out the reasons why. Why is it that our child feels that they need to be empowered and target this demographic or this group? Yes.
I just wanted to add that these wonderful folks trained us at the beginning of the school year as a staff. And we included everybody that we possibly could to look for these similar signs.
Mhm.
And this is something that my guys, and we really have amazing people here. Attendance, grades suddenly dropping, disheveled appearance, marks on arms or legs or something like that. We're very well schooled thanks to these folks in identifying that and then just rallying the team and partnering with families on what to do with it. So we feel like we're kind of ready, and that's one of our number one charges. And this really is outreach to the family so that we can kind of circle the wagons and be on the same page and be a team for all of them.
Right. So the whole objective with all of this is encompassing the entire child's ecosystem. So at school, we're educating our educators. At home, we are educating our parents. And then at the very end, you guys will see a little bit how it is that we tie it in with the students as well. So we are encompassing the entire ecosystem of the student. So the entire ecosystem changes. There's a shift altogether and there's a movement, because this is going to take time. This is not something that's going to happen from one presentation to the next, right? But it's going to take time and it needs to start somewhere. And that somewhere is here, and it's here. So again, thank you guys so much for coming. We're not done yet though. Okay, so what parents can do?
So these are just some ways on how parents can help students or implement on preventing bias-based bullying from happening. And that is by showing a model at home, right? Like we said, sometimes it all starts at home. And that it's very important that parents demonstrate the respect for diversity and accepting somebody for who they are and not judging them for something that they can't change in like 5 minutes, right? Having that sense of inclusivity for everybody. And then also teaching this child or your student on empathy, how to empathize with somebody. I think it's very important that they know that words and actions do matter in the long run. And also just monitoring their behavior, making sure that they're using the internet appropriately and safely. It's very common with cyberbullying. It's one of the many sources or places where students get the most bullied from. So it's very important that we monitor their sources or their internet. And then also just telling them to encourage when they see bullying happening at school. We encourage the word upstander a lot in the bullying prevention program. We want to see kids show a sense of community, making sure that they're not afraid to speak up for the student that's being bullied. And also just creating a sense of ally as well.
No, I should, absolutely. To echo with that. So if we touch on the monitor behavior, let me ask you guys a question. Would you guys allow a complete stranger to come into your house and sit down and just have open conversation about absolutely whatever was running through their mind? Can I get one yes? Didn't think so, right? So when we are exposing our children to have headphones and they're on the internet and they're playing these video games, that is exactly what we are allowing. We are allowing complete strangers to say words that our child probably has never even heard. We're exposing them to things that they probably shouldn't be exposed to, right? So the constant monitoring as parents, that's our job, right? So being vigilant, and which will come in our next series where we can talk a little bit more about internet safety guidelines and parents' responsibilities. You guys will all see the importance of how all of this comes together. Okay, yes.
Can I just add one thing really quickly?
Absolutely.
And I love that that's going to be the next topic for the series. And I don't know, for folks who have been in the district for a while, we did something with Josh Oakes about how to monitor. When we just talked about agricultural proficiency meeting over at the district office. And one of the things we identified is how parents can really actively monitor their kids, not only for, you know, predators and this kind of stuff that you're talking about, but also introduction into, you know, people that they want to emulate that really are saying kind of equal things that they're kind of co-opting into their vocabulary. And guys, at this age, these kids are really looking for what face they need to wear. They all want to be accepted, and they don't want anybody to kind of exclude them from things. So oftentimes they'll take these icky words out of their pocket that they learned and kind of throw them at a kid just to see the reaction. So it's social media. I hate it. But it's here, and it's, the kids can be exposed to it. So we really got to make sure that we can do everything in our power to monitor. Number two, the encourage reporting. I love upstanders, but maybe we're not all ready to be an upstander. It takes a tremendous amount of courage to stand up. But we do encourage you to say something, see something, say something to someone. We have this all the time. We've got kids that tell us everything that happens on campus. And thank God we do. What's our lives busy? That's our job. That's what we're supposed to do, right? Some of it's ticky-tacky, which I love because it's super easy to solve. Others, and you can tell when the kids come into the office, they feel icky about it, make them feel bad. To ask them in the moment before they really feel like they can, to kind of say, well, you can't do that. They're not ready for that yet. We want that to be eventually something that happens, but they're not necessarily ready for that. But good gosh, we need to know about it, because that's not the kind of school we are. And if that continues without anybody doing anything about it, we've lost it.
Right, and we had talked at the module 1 training that we had done with our educators. We had talked about how there's so many things that change so fast, right? You have the term "that's so gay." That was something that was said in my generation growing up in high school. Now they've changed it to something else, right? And it's the same thing, but it's in a different form. And as if you're not in with the cool kids, in with the cool slang, you're not going to know, right? So again, we encourage reporting versus snitching, right? Reporting is when you are letting someone know that there is harm being done. Snitching is you're just telling to tell, right? And with the little ones, when we have because we have BP coaches, bullying prevention coaches at elementary school sites, we have 4 anti-bullying rules. Number 1, I will not be a bully. Number 2, I will include anybody who is left out. Number 3, I will model upstander behavior. And number 4, probably I think one of the most important ones, is if I see somebody being bullied, or if I am being bullied, I will communicate with somebody at home and at school. So that communication piece is not left out, right? And as parents, we are encouraged to take notes, and we'll talk a little bit about that in just a little bit. Take notes, write this stuff down to make sure that we are documenting this, right? Especially when it comes to cyber security and bullying, we need those screenshots, right? Show me them receipts is what the kids say nowadays, right? All right, so at the very bottom, I have a very important quote, and it says, parents hold the power to break the cycle of bullying by leading with empathy. They shape a future where every child feels safe, valued, and empowered, right? Because when we are showing empathy, it's not empathy for ourselves, we are showing empathy for others, right? We are looking to show empathy for others. That way our kids are modeling that same behavior, and they're thinking outside of themselves. They're thinking about others, right? So I thought it was a pretty powerful quote. So responding to bias-based bullying.
Right. So for parents, these are just some ways on how to respond when your child is experiencing bullying at school, if they're the targeted student and or if they are exhibiting the bullying behavior. When it comes to a student being targeted at school, it's very important to listen without judgment, making sure that their feelings are validated, and making sure that we're staying in contact and communicating with the school as well, making sure that making sure that the student feels safe at the school. And then if the child is exhibiting the behavior, again, we don't like to put the blame on the student. I always try to reassure the students that I work with that they're not in trouble. We just want to get to the bottom of it and see what we can do so that they can coexist in the classroom and not create just a really negative environment for the students. And that's just making sure that we address the behavior when the student is exhibiting it, and understanding like the cause of it. Maybe it's a mean moment. Maybe they don't mean it at the moment. Maybe it won't happen again. But sometimes it's important that we keep update with the students to see that it doesn't continue. And then also making sure that they hold accountability as well. Saying sorry, having a genuine apology to the student that they're affecting as well.
And what's a genuine apology? Because let me tell you, and I'm sorry could mean a lot of different things, right? But an I'm sorry needs to come full circle. It needs to be a full circle apology. I'm sorry for X. I know it made you feel, I recognize that it could make you feel X. I'm sorry, it won't happen again. It's a full circle apology, right? And that's something that when we have our littles, we really need to, that's part of showing the empathy part, right? Because it's acknowledging that you hurt somebody in a sense. You acknowledge the fact that it made them feel a certain way, and we need to come full circle to that full apology, right? So teaching just that language really helps, especially with the little ones. And then listen without judgment. So if they're the targeted students, sometimes who's hurting my kid, right? What did they tell you, right? Sometimes our reaction can make it a bigger situation. And our kids are like, oh, my mom, yeah, I'm not going to say anything because I don't know what my mom's going to do. Like a million things are going through their brain as they are expressing to you, and they just see your eyes widen. So sometimes what helps is having a notepad. Okay, tell me what happened. Okay, and who was there? That way your focus is more on you writing and not reacting, right? Because the reaction is sometimes what gets the kids to just shut down and not want to express what it is that's going on. Because it's so important that they have a safe space to be able to come talk to mom and dad, guardian, grandma, grandpa, right? It's important that they have that safe someone and that safe space to be able to come to and express freely what it is that's going on. Okay. So collaboration is key. Collaborating in your community events, collaborating in school events, and creating that safe space at home, what I was just talking about, right? So let's go ahead and talk about safe space at home. When you as a parent are cool, calm, and collected, yeah, I want to talk to you, right? If our kid, it has that safe space to be able to say, hey, mom, I want to talk to you about something, which doesn't always happen, let's be real, right? They're not going to be like, hey, this came up, no, usually it's, you have to inquire. Like, hey, Josh, what's going on? Hey, Josh, how was your day today? Fine. Cool. Hey, Josh, how was your day today? Oh, it was okay. Hey, Josh, how was your day today? I'm a little frustrated. That's your opportunity to dig deep. Creating that safe space. And it may not happen from, 1 month to the next, but you allowing and you just being persistent and you just constantly showing your child that you're there to listen to what it is that's going on without a reaction will go a lot further. Because sometimes we love our kids, not sometimes, all the time. Sometimes. We love our kids so much that when we see them in harm or somebody pointing out something that's not valuable to them, but is so valuable to us, it triggers us. So we need to be able to know what our triggers are. So we are calm and they feel free to express what it is that's going on. Yes.
Well, I think every parent in this room knows that extends well past bullying.
I mean, those are conversations you're gonna have for a lifetime, right? So
Absolutely.
you want to leave that door open as much as possible so that if they do something wrong or scary or something that could hurt them or others, we want to be able to leave that door open, that communication open so that you can learn about this and grow. And this is not going to stop in middle school or high school. This is going to be lifelong. And I think it's important. Reaches even far beyond what we're talking about today.
But
Absolutely.
circling back to that calm.
Presentation
Presentation on that. Or a pill.
We'll do a yoga session.
We'll do a yoga session. We'll have Casey lead it.
That's good.
And have you guys ever heard of the parent report card?
I have not,
The parent report card is, it's not graded.
or have I blocked it out?
So the parent report card is basically, does your child check in after they've graduated when they don't have to check in anymore? That is the parent report card. That is your communication.
Mhm.
If you guys establish good communication from a young age, from a young start, where they feel safe, comfortable to come and talk to you, then guess what? You did it. If you find a little bit of hesitance, good thing that there's always room for improvement. Right? But that parent report card is something that me as a parent is something that I constantly try to think about in those hard times, right? How can I effectively calm, de-escalate the situation, de-escalate the feelings? How can I assist and help so they feel that this is a safe space for them to communicate with me? Right? So calm, staying calm. That was the first thing. Two, staying clear communication. Okay, so Josh, what I'm hearing is X, Y, and Z, X, Y, and Z. And who was there? Okay. Okay, so let me, again, one more time. So this is what happened, right? And we don't want to work it to the point where they get irritated. They're just like, oh, mom, oh, dad, but we want to make sure that we have a clear understanding of the situation, because as parents, we need to be documenting this. We need to make sure that it is somewhere noted and written down. Okay, because as parents, we have busy lives. We have so many things. I have a vet appointment. You have a dentist appointment at this time. I have house insurance. I got to pay about this. I got to do this. I got to do this. We have so many things that it's so easy for us to forget a small factor that can later on be a bigger thing, right? So, and we have to stay consistent, showing consistency to our kiddos in this communication. At our home, we have high-low buffalo every single day during dinner. What was your high? What was your low? And what was your buffalo? What was your buffalo? Something random you want to share, right? And that carries across so well. We were leaving Legoland, and my 4-year-old, it was his 4th birthday, and he was walking out, and he was like, "Mom, what was your high?" Yes, yes. That's encouraging the communication. We weren't at dinner. That's when we normally do it, but he wanted to talk about it. He wanted to talk about his high-low, his buffalo. So I encourage you to stay consistent. Because although you may not get the response you want immediately, consistency is key in everything. Mind, soul, spirit, right? School events. How involved are we in the schools? Are we coming to the games? Are we at back to school night? Are we at these presentations? When our kiddos see us at school, it gives them that sense of pride. It helps you as a parent understand who they're talking about in certain situations. It doesn't always have to be negative, right? But it could be positive. And now Josh is hanging out with Abel. I really like the way Abel is. Like, his communication's great. He has good spirits. He's such a happy kid. It really helps you understand the dynamic. And it also helps you build that community feeling with admin as well, right? Because admin can't do this whole movement on their own. They need to rely on parents, right? When you guys are out on the bleachers at the games, you're another pair of eyes. Right? So, and then community events. How involved are we in just the community outside of just PG? Do we include Monterey, Carmel, Salinas? How involved are we? Because that all takes a big factor in how involved our kiddos are going to be, right? So, on here, you guys will see I have our flyer for Pink Shirt Day. Pink Shirt Day is coming up on February 28th. And we have the Kindness Crew and the Prism Club here at PG Middle School. And we are working on an expressive arts workshop where these students are going to come together and build a beautiful something. It's going to be a beautiful art exhibit. What it is, we are still ironing out the kinks, but it's going to be showcased at Pink Shirt Day. You guys know what Pink Shirt Day is?
No.
You guys ever heard of Pink Shirt Day? Oh, love it. Beautiful opportunity to talk about. So Pink Shirt Day is an anti-bullying day. So we know October as anti-bullying month. Pink Shirt Day is a specific day where we celebrate anti-bullying. It's usually the last Wednesday of February. We're going to celebrate it on February 28th at the mall. And Harmony at Home is going to be putting on a big showcase. Different agencies are going to come by and just have a bunch of tabling. It's going to be a fun event. We're going to have a publisher from Sacramento, and she has a kindness hero book. And so kiddos are going to get capes, and they're going to be able to decorate their own masks. So it's a kindness heroes theme, which will tie in with the art exhibit. And it's a full circle. Like, this is a beautiful way for your kids to showcase and be proud of who they are. And what is the art going to express? Anti-bullyism. How beautiful is that? It's all together coming to as a community and really showing up and saying, yes, I will stand up against bullying. If I notice it, yes, I will stand up and say something. Comment? No?
Who funds that?
Harmony at Home.
Yeah.
Harmony at Home, we have a couple of other partner agencies. We have Monterey, we have Rainbow Connections. We have Sun Street Centers, Partners for Peace. Yeah, but yeah, so it's so it's gonna be a really, really fun event. I definitely encourage you guys all. I'm sure you'll be sharing the flyer.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's gonna be a pretty fun.
Is there an arts therapy component to that, or is that just a cool activity?
So the artist, Paul Richmond,
Oh, that's right. He's got an
Yes.
anti-bullying.
yes, so we are
organization.
partnering with Paul Richmond
And is the
and the
Arts
project
Council
You Will Rise. What was that?
Is the Arts Council part of it?
No. No, this is all through Rainbow Connections, Welcoming Schools, and PG Middle. We have North Monterey County. We have Creekside Elementary. We have
Monterey.
Soledad and Monterey MP. Yeah,
Oh, that's
Monterey.
great.
So we're encompassing all areas of North Monterey County. Shout out to Miss Casey Rodenbush for taking head on that and really just making this come into full fruition. Really was a missing link for us this year for Pink Shirt Day. She's really just coming in strong for that.
Cool.
So working together, it's going to take a village. We've heard that time and time again. It takes a village to make this movement possible. I can't do it on my own. I can talk about it till I'm blue. Denise can talk about it till she's purple. And Sean's gonna need our help.
Yeah.
Right? He needs your help. And in order for us to be that shift in our community, we need to be able to be kind to one another. We need to be able to show that empathy moving forward. Right? So we're gonna move on to an activity really quick. I love this activity. This was an activity that I mirrored off of the trainings that we did with our educators. So activity 1, anybody who is online, you will respond with either A, B, C, or D in accordance to the activity that we are reading up on top of the screen. So it says, a parent overhears another parent comment about a boy with 2 moms. Daniel just keeps acting out. He really needs a father figure at home. Okay, so what we're going to do for the people in the room, corner over there is going to be A, corner over here is going to be B, we got C, and we got D. So go ahead and everybody stand up. So that means you too. And then we're all going to have you move to whatever corner, however it is that you would respond, right? There is no wrong answer. I want everybody to know that there is no wrong answer. Again, a parent overhears another parent comment about a boy who has 2 moms. Daniel just keeps acting out. He really needs a father figure at home. Do you A, talk with the parent in private? Do you B, ignore the situation? Do you C, intervene yourself? Or do you D, seek assistance? All right, I want everybody to take a couple of minutes within your group and discuss a little bit about why it is that you chose the answer that you answered. Yes. A, B, C, and D. And again, anybody who's online, please feel free to respond A, B, C, or D, as well as if you'd like, you can add a little comment as far as why you answered or why you chose A, B, C, or D. We'll give you guys a couple of minutes.
Yeah.
It is true. Why you
Yeah.
choose? See.
Well, depending on the situation.
Yeah, no, I agree. My phone.
Well, and look at them.
All right, so I have a few folks in group A. Do we have anybody in group A who wants to take the lead in answering why it is that you chose to talk with a parent in private?
Okay, honestly, I like the direct approach and I don't want, when I hear that a kid is lashing out or acting out, I want to kind of find out what's going on from the horse's mouth, so to speak, and just be, and not call anyone out and not put any pressure on anyone, but just find out what the real reason is and kind of get the direct approach.
Okay, so what I'm hearing is, just so everybody at home can hear, so what I'm hearing is you would want to approach them in private because you want to hear really what it is that's going on and why the reason is that they're saying those statements, right? So you want to catch them on private and not put anybody on the spot. Okay, and then we have another statement.
Well, so again, I just follow the adage that you criticize in private and you praise in public.
Criticize in private, praise in public. God, that was a tongue twister for me. I'm sorry about that.
Unless it's at a PG city council meeting.
Unless it's okay, you know what? I don't think that there's a wrong answer to this, as long as it's being addressed. And we'll go into it a little bit more in just a second. So we had nobody ignore the situation. Let's give a round of applause. Online, did we get any B's on here? Because yeah, you can go ahead and look over the comments. And then we have C. What do we have for C? Anybody want to stand up for C?
C,
Yes, come on closer so they can hear you right here.
right here.
Yeah, I think they'll be able to hear you from there.
This sounded like an opportunity to be an upstander.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I agree. I think that with that, it models the opportunity, right, to be an upstander, but also for that, whoever it is that's in the audience, to know that they're being supported.
Yeah.
You know, and sometimes if we were to change the scenario a little bit, if we were to hear a student say that about another student, right, that's targeting, we need to be able to nip it in the butt right away. Because we need that other student who is on the side listening to this, they need to feel protected.
Well, and then the broadcast of that action, right?
Right,
You're not
absolutely.
just-
The ripple effect that comes with that, absolutely.
Everybody in here.
Right, absolutely. You're nipping in the butt right then and there, right? Not letting it pass out and go any further or allow that hate to just kind of trickle out. And then we have option D, seek for assistance. Talk to me about that.
For someone who hasn't experienced this yet before, and you have kind of two perspectives. And it's hard to tell who's right or wrong, and they both are right, wrong, so. First, when you say seek assistance with someone who is expert, not anyone,
Okay,
someone who is really knowledgeable.
someone who's knowledgeable on the subject.
It could be a bystander or upstander here, so you don't want to hurt anyone.
Right.
You're not just to do nothing or to go in and then be shocked. So I prefer to have a safe zone, know what we're doing, how we're doing it.
So you'd like to approach the situation with precaution and safety and not hurt anyone's feelings with the implication that there will be a solution at the very end. Great.
No, it's okay. I don't have the self-confidence of kind of confronting
confronting or intervening and being
Okay.
that strong upstander.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I would definitely want there to get more information and support for the other people in the group.
Right, so
I would
some,
want somebody else to be able to say those words that I can't.
and sometimes imagine that. Imagine us as parents, sometimes we don't have the courage to stand up and say something and you really want to. Imagine our littles and how they feel, right? As parents, sometimes we feel like, oh, well, we should know the right answer. Oh, sometimes we don't. And that's okay. But being able to seek assistance to help find the right answer is also okay. Because you're also modeling that, hey, you know what? It's not okay. We're going to find a solution, right? We're going to find the right resource to help us get to that solution, right? So thank you. Thank you guys very much. Don't take a seat because we got one more. We got one more.
wanna
Oh,
read the-
yes. And you know what? Let's read a couple of statements online.
So for the ones that are in the chat, we have Zoe Schultz that chose option C for intervene myself. Zoe said, stand up for that student publicly in the moment, let others know the behavior is not acceptable. And we have Stella, she also chose C, intervene myself, you have to stand up. And she also chose D as seek assistance, you have to be safe when you stand up.
Absolutely. Yeah, you have to be safe when you stand up. I absolutely echo that. Absolutely. And sometimes it's safer to seek assistance or help, like, hey, you know what? Together, let's stand up, right? Rather, let's do it in a group rather than doing it individually. So then sometimes you're not the targeted person in the situation. All right, fantastic. So we're going to go on to the next activity. At a birthday party, you notice a group of youth teasing another youth for their clothing, which they consider to be for the opposite gender. The youth appears embarrassed and noticeably uncomfortable. Right? I'm wearing what slacks? No, I'm wearing a boy's leather jacket, or maybe a gentleman is wearing really flared pants. Right? They feel uncomfortable. You see another group targeting that student, that kiddo. As a parent, what do? Do we A, talk with the youth in private, B, ignore the situation, C, intervene myself, or D, seek assistance? A, B, C, and D. What do we do? Go ahead, take a couple minutes and discuss amongst your group what it is that we would do.
Right there with you. Well, because it's in our mind.
What do we do? Feel free to talk about it amongst your groups. Everybody online, go ahead and pick an answer and share a comment.
Did you want me to share one that already shared?
Yeah, if somebody already shared
So
online.
someone in the chat had already picked out or decided on the answer for the second activity from Jayan. They said depends on my relationships with the youth. If I am well loved and respected, C is likely ideal. That's intervene myself, or D, seek assistance is best if there is a respected and loved adult present.
Absolutely.
Thank you,
Yep.
Jayan.
That's a great answer. Thank you, Jayan.
Jayan.
Jayan. Yeah. Thank you so much for that. That's a great answer. All right. Do our groups feel like sharing yet? You ready? Talking about it? Even if we just share a couple seconds of it, right? Or a couple of notes on it. So we have group A, you would talk with the youth in private. What are some things that you feel that you would say? The clothes don't make the person. Absolutely. Absolutely. They are free to be and express themselves as they wish, right? Doesn't define the person. Anything you'd like to share?
I just simply don't comment on people.
Don't comment on people's appearances. One thing that we teach to our kiddos at a very young age, a golden rule. If they cannot change it in 1 minute, we don't talk about it at all. It's as standard as that. We don't talk about body. We don't talk about appearance. They can't change it. Don't bring it up. If they can change it, hey, your shoe's untied. They could fix that in 30 seconds. Absolutely. Let's talk about that. Right? That's a safety. However, can't change my hair from being straight to being curly. Can't change my skin to being fair, to being darker, right? Can't change myself to be super slender, super muscular. I'm kind of buff under all of this. Totally kidding.
No doubt.
All right, so, and then we have nobody in B, ignore the situation. I love that. Absolutely love that. Do we have any other A's in there that would like to share a comment?
We do have Sarah in the chat that chose option C, interview myself. She commented clothing is for protection. It is not gender specific, period.
Yes, girl. Yes. It is not gender specific. Love your words. All right, and then we have C, intervene myself. Is this crew right here? All right, crew C, talk to me. What would you say?
I think it really was, because I love what you said earlier, that there's no wrong answer except for B. But it all kind of, it depends on who you are, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And so for me, it's so ingrained in me to intervene when that stuff happens in the moment and kind of put the kibosh on it, that is
Absolutely.
exactly what I would do. To the point where if I've got middle school kids in Lucky's doing dumb things in Lucky's, I will stop them right then and there. So I think it's kind of my job and our job
Right.
to stop this specifically. And I love what they said over there, clothes are to keep you warm.
Mm-hmm.
And that's pretty much it.
That's pretty much it, right? Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that. We have nobody in D, do we? Do we have anybody in C that wants to share online, interview myself? No C's, and what about any D's? Seek assistance. None?
All C's.
All right, all C's, interview myself. I love it. And you know what? Go ahead, everybody, take a seat. Thank you so much for everybody online for taking part in this activity. Again, that's what makes these workshops fun, is that we're able to go back and forth. And I'm not the only one talking the entire time, right? So again, whenever we see something, it's see something, say something, right? Even if it's just something, even if sometimes it's just the look. The look says a lot of things, right? Just, right? I saw that, dude. That's not okay. Or like, come on, you know better, right? It's just calling it out because sometimes you don't know who's watching. You don't know who's watching, and you could be that safe person for somebody else, right? Or that action could mean so much for you being that upstander, right? It takes a village, and as parents, we have to model that behavior. We have to model that behavior, right? Because kind parents raise kind kids. One thing that's embedded, it has to be embedded in our head. Kind parents raise kind kids. Okay, so we are gonna watch a short film that will kind of tie in everything. We're getting close to it. We're getting close to it. Nobody's asleep yet? Okay, good. What about online? All right. Let me see if I can.
All able to hear me in there? John, can you hear me?
Peggy, 2 years old, I believe stupid always sometimes. Sometimes just defend a girl. Your religion is fake and it's not real. You're gay. You shouldn't be in this school. You're brown. You're wearing a girly shirt. And I was like, okay, I'll change my shirt.
We know bullying happens in our school. What can we do about it?
If a student isn't feeling safe and comfortable, they aren't focusing on what I'm teaching them. We know bullying happens in our school. What can we do about this? Makes you feel safe at school. Tomorrow, teacher. A new kid called your friend, Dave. I was getting help from an adult because adults know more about this kind of situation. We just ignore because I really and you can't change it. Blue was a quiet color. Red liked to pick on blue. Makes fun of the way you are and everything, and you can't help what you are. Has anybody ever heard anybody get called a name because of their skin color? Called him.
In two ways. What do they see when, one physically, one mentally? If all of these people stood straight up like an arrow and said, no, do you think it would help?
These people.
To me, it's no-brainer. You have to make sure that our students are comfortable talking about difference so that they can ease into their learning and feel confident in their growth. Two or three kids came up to me right after the lesson and they wanted to tell me about things that were said to them that hurt. And that was a success.
Came up to me right after the lesson and they wanted to tell me about things that were said to them that hurt. And that was a success.
I know.
So let our folks online finish up. I think they're just about done finishing up. So with that, the video that we just showed was a short clip from the Welcoming School series, which is being offered here at PG. Welcoming School series is a 6-module course that we are offering to our educators. It's going to take about 3 years to cover all 6 modules. But we are starting the movement now. We are starting it now, but we cannot do it alone. We have to reach out and we have to extend our hand for help for parents. We need this to go outside of these walls. We need it to go outside of this discussion room. This is something that's super important, very near and dear to my heart, very near and dear to Denise's heart and everybody's here, because what we're doing is we're building inclusivity. We're building a safe space for our students to come and learn and thrive. They shouldn't have to worry about what they're wearing, what they look, where they come from. They should be worrying about what their grades are going to be because they work so hard. And not even worried, they should be excited about what's coming because they have a safe space. They should be excited about coming to school because this could be the community that we're all seeking to build. But it's going to take work. It's going to take time and it's going to take effort. So I really want to encourage you guys to continue to come to these parent series so you guys help carry this outside of these 4 walls. So we help carry it outside of this room. Okay. So our next series that will be featured is going to be on February 11th. And as you can see, it's going to be on cyberbullying and internet safety. Cyberbullying changes often in different forms. Do I know all the ways? Absolutely no, I don't. But if we can even just build awareness together as a village, we can come together and really just help each other learn and grow. Okay, so remember, this is a 4-part series. The next one's going to be on February 11th, 6 p.m. It will be held virtual as well as in person. I definitely welcome anybody that can come in person to come and join us. We had a great group today, right?
Yep.
And I'd like to leave you guys all with this beautiful quote. In a world where you can be anything, be kind. So let's all be kind and raise kind kids. Okay. Again, we'd like to thank Rainbow Connections, Monterey County Behavioral Health, PG Middle, Mr. Strawn Roach, and Luis, thank you. And of course, Harmony at Home for making this presentation possible. I'd like to leave you with some resources should you need them. And I'd like to open this up for Q&A. If you guys have any questions for us, what we do, what we can do, anything that we covered, anything you'd like to share?
And
Thank you, because it's to my attention, no matter how we try our best to be best parents.
Right.
There are still things that, even way before start to be annoying. There are cross currents and others. There are maybe now just thinking my mind, and you do my attention to that. Even my little girl, when she come and say, Mom, guess what? Like one of my friends today, he got an F at school. So it's there where parents should not encourage that and should divert or maybe like it's from there, from
Right.
innocent behavior that is not bullying yet. For us parents, if we encourage that or disencourage that, it starts.
Empathy,
Yeah. It's the
Just-
empathy part.
empathy. I have yet to meet a parent of a student who perhaps was being unkind to another student. I have yet to meet a parent that wanted to encourage that kind of behavior. And so I think this is part of both sides of it. If somebody's being mean to your student, or if your student might be mean to someone else, there's a lot, these guys, it is a wonderful 3 years, 6th grade, 7th grade, and 8th grade. And there's a lot of fun things that go on during this time. But at the root of it, they're trying to find out who they are and what kind of person they want to be. And so it is our job, not as a school, but as adults and as human beings, to raise these kids to see right from wrong. So we have to give grace during these 3 years of time, and they're going to mess up. I largely blocked out my middle school career because it was a very tough time. But schools and community organizations really understand that this is a pivotal time in their life. So if they are able to really put themselves in someone else's shoes before they say something, before they do something, it's just going to make the world a better place.
Absolutely.
So we need to do more of that.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
and guys, thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for being online. Tell your friends who missed it. This is going to be able to be viewed very soon. And please come for the next one. The social media and the cyberbullying is icky, and it's really important that we all get on the same page. So.
Right. Right. Any other questions? Do we have anybody online who has a question?
Just more comments. We did have, Zoe commented, thank you, excellent presentation. Glad these are becoming the social norms at PG, Unified School District schools. We have Sarah saying that this is amazing. I hope it will be available via recording or
Yes.
PDFs of the slideshow for those parents who were unable to attend.
Absolutely.
So valuable. We have Raquel. I'd like to share that my son joined the anti-bullying club and is really enjoying this space.
Yay.
He's been
Good
telling
job.
me about it. Awesome job. Thank you for creating safe spaces and awareness.
Oh, I love that.
Thank you.
That's great. And if your students are, I mean, if they haven't brought up the either Prism Club or the anti-bullying club, encourage them to just stop by and see what it's about. Again, it's a safe space, and maybe, just more allyship.
Yes.
More, you can never have too many upstanders, right? And that's the vision. Yes.
Where exactly is the two clubs at? Like on campus?
Where are the two clubs located?
They're actually both down in the Flex Lab.
Yeah.
Yeah, right behind the
Right.
garden, because the garden's such a pretty place too. So sometimes they- Yes, and
And
they
it's
will
during
take
lunchtime.
during lunchtime. And if they want to visit the club, they get to go to the front of the line so they can grab their food, go down there and help them. Not that we're bribing, but it has an incentive. Yes.
Try to provide snacks for them as well, just to kind of create that environment for them, play music for them so they're just,
Right. Yeah, and to follow, when you send out the recording, I'll be sending out like a short link for you guys to just provide some feedback on this presentation. To just see if we covered enough material for you guys, if we can make it a little bit more substantial should it need to be. And again, thank you guys so much for everybody who's online, took the time, and for you guys, thank you guys so much for being here. So much. I look forward to our next presentation, February 11th at 6 p.m. We'll see you guys here. Have a good one.
Julie, Denise, get rocks.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. Yes. See you guys tomorrow.